and really didn't do many things well. No need to sugarcoat this one. Kyrie Irving was too good. The Jazz defense was a sieve, and the offense looked back like it did against Phoenix and Minnesota, where it got banged up, physically held up, and didn't move the ball. The Jazz fall, losing by 34 points to the Brooklyn Nets, 130-96. Welcome to POSTCAST. I'm David Locke. This is our interactive, immediately after each game, post-game show, taking your questions, your thoughts, and your comments on what happens with the Utah Jazz. I always give you a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on and then take your comments and your thoughts. The Jazz tonight get just blown out. Like, they're down 20-4 at their second time out. They're down 9-2, then down 20-4. They're down by 20 for an inordinate amount of this basketball game. Brooklyn led by 21 at the end of one, 19 at the half, 25 at the end of three, and won it by 34 points. So nothing really good about this game. You can try to find a bright spot here or there that maybe Donovan found a rhythm, but honestly, I didn't think Donovan was very good for much of the night, so I have a hard time giving him a bunch of props for a 31-point performance and a bunch of points that didn't matter. I mean, defensively just weren't good and didn't have an answer for Kyrie, who came out flying. We had 4 field goals in the first half, one at the 10-12 mark in first quarter, one at the 10-12 mark, one at the 8-18 mark, one at the 127 mark, and one at the 42nd mark. All right, I'm going to start with a question here because I knew this was going to come up. Live and die by the 3. Not true at all. Died by the 2. Like, go back to the first part of this ball game. When we're down 20-4, we've taken like 2 3-point shots. The game's over. We're 2 of 12 and 0 of 3 from 3 at that point. The game's virtually over. We're down 20-4. The fact of the matter is what we did is we drove in, tried a bunch of floaters, mid-range shots, and when they got the rebounds on that, they ran, got in transition. We got cross-matched almost each and every possession, couldn't get into defensive positions. Then they penetrated, then they kicked, then Kyrie went bang, 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 bang. Got Rudy on mismatches, got other guys on mismatches. This was not a live and die by the 3 game at all. It's a stupid cliche that's inaccurate anyway. How's that? Brandon, I love you. Welcome to the show. But seriously, that's not the story at all tonight. Our shot distribution wasn't good early. I don't know what goes on early in games. We did it in San Antonio too. Early in games, we run a ton of action for little floaters in the lane and bad shots. We're not getting the blender going and kicking and moving the ball and getting plays early the way we would want to. And defensively, I thought Mike Wells, Jazz assistant coach who joined us on the show, said it well. Our principle is we don't want to allow guys middle. But the first principle is we don't want to allow guys in the paint. So when we watch our defenders just opening up their back leg and like letting guys get into the lane, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Now, hey, this league's brutal, right? Like, you can't touch them, you can't forearm, you can't check them, you can't do this. And you got Kyrie dancing, you got Karis LeVert with his big strides. Like, it's hard. Defense in this league is super hard. It's why Rudy's so valuable. Though Rudy wasn't very good. Rudy wasn't very impactful tonight at all. Jared Allen outplayed Rudy Gobert. Quite honestly, and I'm not trying to pound them. They lost by 34. It's going to be a bunch of nights where I tell you how good they are. Tonight, I don't have a lot of things to tell you about how good they were. There aren't a lot of things they did well tonight. It's too bad. Let's get your comments. Rough game. Uncle Drew, nice. Not very inspiring, says Paul. Hopefully the team will show up tomorrow. I mean, this is the beauty of the NBA, and this is the beauty of who the Jazz are, is they generally do show up the next night. Like, this is, but if we go back and look at last year, my memory, and I have a very, very bad memory, but my memory is that we got run a decent amount last year. Like, unfortunately, for whatever reason the makeup this group has, we get run a little bit. I'm not sure. The things we look at on this team tonight are hard to look at. We allowed 68 points in the paint, 27 points off turnovers. We did get 20 catch and shoot chances. We allowed 8. We made 8 of those. That's 40%. That's exactly what we are. This was just not a good night. I'll have to go back and look. I do feel like we got run a few times last year. It happens. Scott Newman, what exactly went wrong? Was it more on the defensive end? So that's a really tricky question. Let me try to give a solid answer here. The first thing that went wrong early in the game is I thought we had bad offensive shot distribution, which led to transition opportunities for Brooklyn. They really pushed without Durant, with Kyrie leading the way. They really pushed. They got us in cross matches in transition. They then took advantage of it and got buckets. Then we're taking the ball out of the net because they're scoring. We're now bringing the ball up the floor slowly into our half court. We're not running like Ron Boone always asks for, like run, get those early opportunities. We're not doing that at all at that point. And I did think I saw a team get physical with us again. And it doesn't, like, the book is going to be out on the two, like, I don't think it's just us who knows this team that well. I think scouts are pretty good in this league. Doesn't take a long time for the word to get physical on our cutters, get out on top. If you don't get physical on Bojan Bogdanovic in the corner, if you don't stick to Jordan Clarkson as they're making the routes, they'll kill you because Rudy's going to set the pick and Bojan's going to be open for a three and Conley's going to get the catch and shoot. So you don't really have a choice but to be physical with us. Now we're going to have to figure out how to counter that. Right now we're not very good at countering that. So I think that's a hugely important thing. And when we're in the half court and we're in that half court set, then it gets to be more likely that teams can body up on us. If we're out running free, like Ron talks about on the broadcast all the time, then we have the opportunity for you to be able to get to play in space and make plays, drive, kick, boom, bang, catch and shoot, boom, boom, boom. We're playing. Right? That's, San Antonio showed people what not to do the other night. We're not going to, even though the defensive makeup, like I think tomorrow is going to be super hard for us. Because on the other side, it's pretty clear what the strategy is. You don't need to do a lot of ball movement against us. First of all, you don't want to do a lot of ball movement against us because you involve Rudy. We always actually are the team where teams throw the fewest amount of passes against us because they don't really want to involve Rudy. They want to get up the floor and go early. And then you don't want to involve Rudy. You're just going to drive. Well, they have Austin Rivers, who's a great driver. They have Julius Randle, who's a great driver. They got RJ Barrett, who's a pretty good. They got Kevin Knox. That's all he does. He's not good at it. He just does it. So when you start looking at those things, that's what tomorrow I think can be really tough. Tyson Tanner says, yikes, a lot went wrong, but I'd say our perimeter defense was what would let us down the garbage path that our guards need to do better. Yeah, I mean, I'm not singling out an individual tonight. Like, collective team effort. I swear there was an invisible cover on the hoop for the Jazz. It's probably true. The Nets needed this win. There's a large part to that. Let's give the Nets a lot of credit tonight. They lost 4 of 5. They're without Durant. They're going to be without Durant for a week. First-year head coach, and they got a huge response tonight. That's pretty awesome, right? Like, let's give them some credit for that. And Kyrie Irving was unbelievable. He started the night. First quarter, Kyrie Irving is 7 for 7 for 19 points. So I think you got to give him that. Andy says Bogey is still not right. Is he rusty and pain, not in game shape? He hasn't played since March, so that's definitely different. I'm a little concerned that people are just getting physical on him, top blocking him on the wing. He's not being able to get out for his shots, and then they're limiting his game a little bit. But why no one did that to him last year and they're just doing it to him now seems strange to me, so I kind of think he'll get through it. How do we improve transition defense without elite length or athleticism? Ooh. Next question, how do we bring a divided country together, right? Like, and then we'll do with the Middle East problems. No, I mean, this is a great question. It's really, really hard. Spencer Ward ends the night with, to me, we seem like a team with no chemistry. I know that's cliche, but why the distinction on easy things tonight? I think you look like you have no chemistry when you don't make shots and the other team's making shots. But, we weren't good tonight. There's no reason to sugarcoat that in the way we played today. We'll see if we're better tomorrow. Long road trip. We're going to get really tired by the end of this road trip. So these early games are important. It's too bad we dropped one tonight. Thanks for tuning in. This is Post.